consider the 4 o'clock pre-agenda meeting for Tuesday, April the 4th. How appropriate, the 4th for 4 o'clock. How's that?
I didn't even think about that.
I didn't either till just now saying it. So calling it to order, and we will ask if there's any adjustments to the agenda. Manager Mull?
No, ma'am, no adjustments.
No adjustments this time. And no presentations or special recognitions or awards. I see no appointments. We do have a public hearing for economic development. That'll be at the 7 o'clock hour. And that just takes us right into the administrative matters. Manager Mull?
Absolutely, thank you. The first item is a request from Emergency Communications to proclaim April 2023 as National 911 Month and April 9th through the 15th of 2023 as National Telecommunicator Week. And we have our Communications Department and PR team that's here to make this presentation to the board. And I think Paula is going to do the honors along with Candy.
Paul, I just want to know one thing. Are you related to him?
Take the fifth. Take the fifth.
Say no.
I plead the fifth. No, yes, sir, I am. I cannot lie.
I already asked him. So. Sorry.
I'm feeling the love right now.
You should feel the love.
Thank you for coming tonight.
Thank you. Good evening, Madam Speaker, Commissioners, County Manager Ms. Mull, Ms. Anderson, and Attorney Valdez. As most of you know me, let me officially introduce myself as the newly appointed commissioners. I am Paula Price, and I am a TC2 and the PR chairperson for Iredell County Emergency Communications. This is personally my third year in a row asking for y'all's permission and blessing to have April 2023 as National 911 Education Month and April 9th through the 15th as National Telecommunicator Appreciation Week. ECOM has had an amazing year. 2 weeks ago, you all voted to reclassify Iredell County telecommunicators from office administrative support to protective service occupants. In 2022, we had 821 visitors at ECOM, including all the 4th grade Iredell County students. We spoke to approximately 900 citizens face-to-face at events, and we've had over 5,100 Facebook likes on our live views for 2 broadcastings. We added 2 administration positions, and we also launched the Pulse Point app for the citizens to get direct information on emergency calls. Madam Chairman, members of the board, being the first responder, we often hear the cries for help. However, in most cases, we do not get the closure we desperately need. Iredell County has had some tragedy in 2022. We've had some really bad calls, and we've had several certain heartbreaking calls that will take a while for us to get over. And as with law enforcement, fire, and EMS, they are mentally exhausting careers, but we know that there is always a light at the end of the tunnel. For 2022, our centers handled 187,317 law calls for service, 39,063 EMS calls for service, 24,774 fire calls for service, 9,826 animal control calls, and 8,633 rescue calls for service. That's totaling of 269,613 calls for service in 1 year. We had 229,292 non-emergency incoming calls, 89,311 911 calls coming in. And then we had 3,093,332 radio transmissions. That's up from last year of 25,000. And that averages about 96,667 transmissions per telecommunicator. We're all excited to see what 2023 has in store for us as we continue to grow, protect, and educate amazing citizens, as well as our heroic responders of Iredell County. So with that being said, going forward to 2023, we are graciously asking you to grant us the month of April as National 911 Education Month and April 9th through the 15th as National Telecommunicator Appreciation Week. And before I start rambling even worse and start stuttering, I will close with this. Thank you all for everything that you do. Thank you for your support, for always having our back. We appreciate it, and it does not go unnoticed. Thank you all for your time, and have a good evening.
Thank you. All right. I will ask any board members before I read the proclamation if you have any thoughts you want to share.
I just want to say, these guys take the first calls when they come in, and sometimes they feel helpless because you're sitting there trying to get them help as fast as you can. And that, to your point, is mentally very stressful. And you don't always know the outcome at the other end unless you check, but you're appreciated, and thank you for all you do.
Thank you.
It's not easy. We know it's not easy. I know firsthand it's not easy. And we appreciate what you all do and what everybody's working right now. And you got people that are sleeping right now that'll come into work here in a little while. We can't forget about the night shift people too, but thank you for everyone. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you much. You know, I get to see it from a very personal set of eyes. And so my understanding and knowledge is changed over the years. And I'm very thankful that someone is there. I've said it over the years as a soldier, it was very nice to know someone is here taking care of soldiers' families, that while we're away, when soldiers are away protecting freedom, there's someone here protecting our families. And you're the first line of that, and truly thankful. You know, I still have to laugh from time to time. I don't know, Tara, how long ago, I remember, it was, I think, a Saturday, and my phone, our home phone rang, and it was Bill.
Jeter.
Bill Jeter. And he goes, is this Brad? I said, yeah. He goes, I said, why is 911 calling me, Bill? He said, well, I've just done having a great conversation with a young child. So my young daughter, Carson, at the time, had called 911 and just decided that was the social thing to do, and had a great conversation. But to know that someone, for the 911 hang-ups, that no matter what the circumstances are, you're going above and beyond. So kudos.
Thank you.
You know, and I'm saying, I know Bert has dealt with it more than any of us in his line of duty, but we are, as I've learned, being a commissioner, learned more about y'all's office, and came to really appreciate what y'all do. And, you know, it's kind of like, I was watching a TikTok thing the other day where a woman calls in. I know most people have seen it, where she's ordering a pizza. Have you ever seen that?
Yeah.
And I'm thinking about you guys. I'm sitting going, does this really happen? Because there's so many things that, you know, her boyfriend was beating her to death. So, and you know, and you know, it's like Christmas time. You know, I had to work, but I choose to work. That's my job. But y'all guys have to work. Somebody has to be there. And I appreciate y'all being there, because you don't get to say, well, I'm going to stay at home Christmas Day and be with my kids. Somebody has to be there, and we really appreciate what you do.
Thank you.
Well said. Thank y'all so very much for that one, too. And just to reiterate, I learned a lot, too, by the tours and speaking, because you just automatically assume you call 911. You don't know what's going on. The caller doesn't always know how to respond either, due to what's going on in their end of it. So not only are you doing your job of answering the phone, you're deciphering what they're saying to you, putting pieces together, and trying to get the information back out. And it's so important to have teamwork on your end there and sharing that out. So so appreciative. And I tell you, when I toured and found out, watching the screens and just seeing how in-depth it is, it's not just like y'all are sitting around waiting for the phone to ring. There's so much more. There's so much more. It's like, oh, phone call. No, it is. It's amazing to the level that you have to keep track of. You've got laws, controllables, things to be aware of, what you can and can't share, what you can and can't say. Just a lot of challenges. So if there's anything else that needs to be said or thoughts, then I'll be honored to read the proclamation to proclaim National Public Safety Telecommunicators Week, April 9th through 15th, 2023. Whereas emergencies can occur at any time that require police, fire, or emergency medical services, and whereas when an emergency occurs, the prompt response of police officers, firefighters, and paramedics is critical to the protection of life and preservation of property. And whereas the safety of our police officers and firefighters is dependent upon the quality and accuracy of information obtained from citizens who telephone the Iredell County Emergency Communications Center, and whereas public safety telecommunicators are the first responder, and most critical contact our citizens have with emergency services, And whereas public safety telecommunicators are the single vital link to our police officers, rescue, firefighters, by coordinating their dispatch, monitoring their activities by radio, providing them information, and ensuring their safety. And whereas public safety telecommunicators of Iredell County Emergency Communications Center have contributed substantially to the apprehension of criminals, suppression of fires, pre-arrival life-saving instruction, and treatment of patients. And whereas each dispatcher has exhibited dedication, compassion, understanding, and professionalism during the performance of their job in the past year. Therefore, be it resolved that Iredell County Board of Commissioners declares week of April 9th through 15th, 2023, to be National Public Safety Telecommunicators Week in Iredell County, and honor the men and women whose diligence and professionalism keep our city and citizens safe on this April 4th of 2023. And that includes every one of y'all and all the team back at there. And it's such an honor to be able to read that one too. But not only is there that, and this, as I was reading the proclamation for establishing April as National 911 Education Month, it brings up a lot of points too. And I'm hoping that as we're out in the community, we can share some of the educational pieces of how teaching the kids. And now there's so many ways to access a phone call. And it speaks to the fact that our older folks are a little bit challenged, whether it be the flip phone, smartphone, all these pieces. And now I also learned that if you put your phone in a camera stand and it squeezes both sides at the same time, you could be calling an emergency situation. Now, granted, some of those pictures looked pretty bad. I don't think it needed 911. So it's like you unscrew that. So you realize that there's going to be false calls by accidents, and then there's times that, the watches now call too under impact?
Yes, ma'am.
So it's no longer just the rotary.
The iPads, the kids playing with the iPads, we get a lot of that now, false calls for that.
See, I just learned something else. So with that, let's read the proclamation establishing April as National 911 Education Month. Whereas 911 is nationally recognized as a number to call in emergency to receive immediate help from police, fire, EMS, and other appropriate emergencies response entities. Did you say something?
No, ma'am.
Okay, just making sure that I was doing the right thing in the right order. Thank you, because sometimes
You're good.
All right. See, I get educated on that one as well sometimes. So whereas in 1967, the President's Commission on Law Enforcement and Administration of Justice recommended that a single number should be established nationwide for reporting emergency situations, and other federal government agencies and various governmental officials also supported and encouraged this recommendation. Whereas in 1968, the American Telephone and Telegraph Company, AT&T, announced it would establish the digits 911 as emergency code throughout the United States. Whereas 911 was designated by Congress as National Emergency Call Number under the Wireless Communications and Public Safety Act of 1999. Whereas the Enhanced 911 Act of 2004 established Enhanced 911 as a high national priority as part of our nation's homeland security and public safety. Whereas it is important that policymakers at all levels of government understand the importance of 911, how the system works today, and the steps that are needed to modernize the 911 system. Whereas the 911 system is a connection between the eyes and ears of the public and the emergency response system in the U.S. and is often the first to know of emergencies of all magnitudes, making 911 a significant homeland security asset. Whereas there are over 6,000 911 public safety answering points serving more than 3,000 counties and parishes throughout the United States. Whereas PSAPs answer more than 200 million 911 calls each year in the United States, and a growing number of 911 calls are made using wireless and IP-based communication services. Whereas a growing segment of the population, including deaf and hard of hearing and individuals with speech disabilities, are increasingly communicating with non-traditional text, video, and instant messaging communication services, and expect these services to be able to connect directly to 911. Whereas the growth and variety of means of communication, including mobile and IP-based systems, impose challenges for accessing 911 and implementing enhanced 911, and require increased education and awareness about their capabilities. Whereas numerous other N11s and 800 number services exist for non-emergency situations, including 211, 311, 511, 711, 811, Poison Control Center, and mental health hotlines. And the public needs to be educated on when to use these services in addition to or instead of 911. Whereas people of all ages use 911, and it is critical to educate the public of all ages on the proper use of 911. Whereas senior citizens are at high risk for needing access to 911, and a large segment of the population is learning to use new technology. Whereas thousands of 911 calls are made every year by children properly trained on the use of 911, resulting in lives saved, which underscores the critical importance of training children early in life about 911. Whereas there is a widespread misuse of 911 system, including prank and non-emergency calls, which can result in costly and inefficient use of 911 and emergency response resources, and a need to reduce this practice. Whereas parents, teachers, and other caregivers need to play an active role in 911 education for children, but will do so only after being first educated themselves. Whereas there are many avenues for 911 public education, such as safety fairs, school presentations, libraries, churches, businesses, PSAP tours, or open houses, civic organizations, and senior citizen centers. Whereas children, parents, PTAs, and teachers are often an important group to educate about the importance of 911 through targeted outreach efforts to public and private school systems. Whereas we as a nation should strive to annually host at least one educational event in every school in the country every year regarding the proper use of 911. Whereas an established National 911 Education Month could include public awareness events, including conferences, media outreach, training activities for parents and teachers, school administrators, other caregivers, and businesses, educational events in schools and other appropriate venues, and production and distribution of educational content on 911 designed to educate people of all ages on the importance and proper use of 911. Whereas Americans deserve the finest education we can offer regarding 911 education, now therefore be it resolved that the Iredell County Board of Commissioners recognizes April as National 911 Education Month, and be it further resolved that Iredell County Board of Commissioners urges the U.S. Congress and the governors of all states and territories to recognize April as National 911 Education Month. There. And you know what, I'm just so impressed too, the things you shared in your piece at the very beginning, you're doing them. A lot of these things already, you're appearing, you're there, and it's just amazing. And I would like to ask if there is a motion to accept the proclamation for National 911 Month and for the Telecommunicators Week.
So moved.
All in favor? Aye. It's unanimous support. Thank y'all so very, very much.
Thank you.
Now, did we want to, are we taking a picture or anything on this, or?
We certainly can.
Madam Chair, are you putting that on the consent agenda?
Oh. What would you recommend, Attorney Valdez?
Well, I think that you either need to put it on the consent agenda or do it again at the 6 o'clock
Oh, we
hour.
won't read that again, because I think we'll let that be enough of my voice reading that in support of that. So, consent, then.
Consent.
Thank you so very much. Unless y'all wanted to continue to stay around.
Oh, no. That whereas kind of draws on a little bit.
Okay. All right, so on the, I'll need to sign that one. Did you want me to go ahead and sign and present? Okay. We can have that taken care of. Would y'all like to come up and
Yes,
receive?
please.
The whole crew.
Yeah.
Yes, that's public health.
Big.
Which one? The big girl. Coming up here now?
Say, okay. She like her daddy.
She is.
She like her daddy. Oh, my goodness, that's enough.
Well, see, I knew her when she was little. I met her when she was little.
She wasn't ever little.
When she was born.
wasn't
He said
never
you wasn't never little.
And sometimes it doesn't.
Where are we going?
You used to be right here.
I need to be right there.
Yep.
Yes, you're welcome. Please.
Yep.
There you go.
You taking this to the special too?
I don't know.
Big, big crowd here.
I'm squeezing y'all in here. Hey. Okay, let's squeeze in here with me, girl. Okay. There we go. Are they behaving behind us?
I was looking for the bunny ears.
I got it,
Everybody's been
kids,
good.
Oh, good, okay.
Of course, we're behaving behind you.
Thank you.
Oh, I didn't know you was gonna admit to it for a little bit.
Thank you so much. Congratulations.
Thank you.
He loves me more than that.
She expected him to. Thank you.
Thank you.
Just saying.
Just saying, honey. Manager Mole, would we continue down to the administrative matters, please?
Absolutely. The next item is a request from the Health Department to proclaim April the 3rd through the 9th of 2023 as Public Health Week. And Sierra Ashworth is here to make this presentation to the board.
We got another one.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
I'm Sierra Ashworth. I'm the Public Information Officer for the Iredell County Health Department, and I'm here to graciously ask, after that really amazing presentation, and thank you all for all you do, to consider declaring April 3rd through the 9th National Public Health Week. At the Health Department, our main goals are to prevent, promote, and protect. For the prevention piece, we've given out thousands of rapid COVID-19 tests to help prevent the spread of infection. We've made sure that they're available to anyone that needs them at all of our health department locations, as well as at community events throughout the county. For promotion, we have, of course, given out the COVID tests. That's also a part of promotion, but also taught people where to find information on how to use those COVID tests, given out information on where to go to get vaccinated, where to find more information about emerging health issues as they become kind of more on everyone's mind, things like Mpox, what have you. The protect portion, every single time you turn on your tap, think of the health department, because without the environmental health section, we could have some pretty dirty water. But with all of that being said, I will ask that you do consider, and hopefully do, declare April 3rd through the 9th National Public Health Week.
You know, it comes at an interesting time, though, as it overlaps with the emergency, the telecommunicator part. It's like we want to take care of ourselves and maybe reduce the number of calls that go. We'll have to see how that works in there, too. But I will ask if anyone would like to share any thoughts before we go into the proclamation for the health department.
Just like to say thanks for everything you do. There's a lot of things that everybody doesn't always think about. And sometimes, there's an old saying, sometimes we got to be saved from our stupid selves. So I appreciate the information and the assistance and yes, it's you.
No, I never said that.
But no, a lot of behind the scenes work that's done and goes very unrecognized. So thank you for what you do.
Thank you.
It's never changed. I'm going to say it's constantly changing on that one, too. Any other thoughts?
I'll just echo that. Being on the health board, I learned so many different things during our orientation that I, even being a commissioner, had no idea that the programming and all the people they touch and all the programs they offer for people that have various needs. So the more education we can do as a county and the health department is awesome, because there's so many citizens that could use the programming and things that you guys do. It's awesome, all the things we offer. And I hate to say that till now, but there's a lot of things we don't know they do, and the citizens probably don't know they do, but they're working very hard, to reach those people, and hopefully our mobile unit will even extend that more than what it has been, and I'm looking forward to doing that. But thank you for what you do also.
Thank you.
Now, Sierra, would you like to read your proclamation?
I surely can. All right. So, whereas since 1995, the American Public Health Association, through the National Public Health Week, has educated the public, policymakers, and public health professionals about issues important to improving the public's health. And whereas The week of April 3rd through the 9th, 2023 is National Public Health Week, and the theme is Centering and Celebrating Cultures in Health. And whereas public health professionals have always and will continue to focus on entire communities within Iredell County and create cultural connections to enhance health equity to promote opportunities for enhanced health, well-being, and quality of life. And whereas public health professionals use the science and art of preventing disease, prolonging life, and promoting health through strategic planning efforts designed to improve the health of people in their communities. Promoting healthy lifestyles, reducing disease and injury, and detecting, preventing, and responding to infectious diseases are all important responsibilities of public health professionals. And whereas public health professionals will continue to help communities prevent, prepare for, withstand, and recover from the impact of a full range of health threats, including disease outbreaks like COVID-19, natural disasters, and more. Public health will also work diligently to anticipate and mitigate future emerging health threats in Iredell County. And whereas the Iredell County Health Department is dedicated to helping communities reach a better state of health by researching and using evidence-based practices, current population health data, and input from the community. And whereas the Iredell County Health Department team will continue to work alongside local, regional, and state stakeholders to assess complex issues and develop workable solutions to promote healthy people and healthy communities to create the needed foundation to improve the health, safety, and well-being of individuals living in Iredell County. And whereas the Iredell County Health Department team will continue to work towards their mission of promoting and protecting community, personal, and environmental health. Take it away, Melissa.
Now therefore, we, the Iredell County Board of Commissioners, do hereby proclaim April 3rd through 9th, 2023 as Public Health Week in Iredell County, North Carolina, and call upon the people to observe this week by helping our families, friends, neighbors, co-workers, and leaders better understand the value of public health and supporting great opportunities to adopt prevention lifestyles to live optimal lives. In witness whereof, I have hereunto set my hand this 4th day of April, 2023. Congratulations on that one.
Thank you.
Now, in my wording on this one, do I have consent to support the proclamation for the Health Department?
Consent.
Consent. We have unanimous consent, and I shall sign that document and present it. Jane, would y'all like to come forward? Let Sierra receive.
Much smaller crowd.
Just me, it's fine.
Stand up, Scotty.
Well, let's step back here in front of that one. Yeah.
Come on, Gene, slide on in, like you like.
No, what's going on behind us? Yeah. All right. Oh, you got it already too? Okay. Perfect. Thank you. Thank you, congratulations. Thank you.
So step down. The next item on the consent agenda is a request from the Health Department for approval of the North Carolina Department of Health and Human Services Division of Public Health and Division of Child and Family Wellbeing for fiscal year 23-24 program agreement addendums. And this is a fairly healthy part of your packet. So it includes the addendums and fiscal year 24 consolidated agreement. And Ms. Jane Henson is here to make this presentation to the board.
Good afternoon. I think it's rather fitting that you see the agreements that we have from the Department of Health and Human Services after you read the proclamation, and especially with Commissioner Haupt talking about the programs and services that we provide. So you have in front of you 21 agreement addendas from Department of Health and Human Services, and they have split now. There are two divisions that we work with. There's a Division of Public Health, and they've created a new division, the Division of Child and Family Wellbeing. So that is new for this year. And we wanted to make sure you had a good understanding of our relationship with the Department of Health and Human Services. This is one of our funding streams, you know, that we bill Medicaid and we bill private insurance and, of course, accept private pay. But with these 21 agreement addendas, that is about $2,873,832 in grant funding. And we earn this grant funding. If you read through these documents, you will see there is lots of deliverables. We have lots of program audits. In fact, we're having a WIC audit today. We're having a Women's and Children's Services audit from DHHS later on in the month. So we are held accountable. This is not just documents that we sign. We live and breathe everything that's in the documents. And the way we get this grant funding is we do an expenditure report monthly, and with that, we draw down those funds. So it's very important. We track our time, our staff that work in the different programs, so that we can draw down funding that way. And for our upcoming budget, fiscal year 23-24, this $2.8 million is about 25% of our budget, which is around $11.4 million. Do you have any specific questions about any of the programs or any of the agreement addendas?
Will you read that from start to finish?
Yes.
I'll say,
Single one, you see my
Pick
notes.
us up on the other end.
She will, she'll meet you after the meeting and share that with you.
I don't put my name on anything unless I read every word. So in our program, we have individuals that specialize in all the program areas. So they own that particular agreement addendum, whether it's family plan and maternity or child health. But we are certainly held accountable for these funds.
Do you see any changes with the, you said that the division of the child and family well-being portion is new. Do you see any changes for the health department with that? Will it help anything, change anything, or is it just how it looks on paper?
It was an organizational restructure that the secretary did, Secretary Cohen, before she left. And it's pulled some of our agreements, like child health and WIC, into this new division, our care management for children at high risk. So it's been a little rocky initially, but I think it will be fine. For us, the agreements really didn't change other than the name of who the agreement is coming from. But I think it was to streamline communication and make sure that those like programs are together in the new division.
Okay. Because you often wonder when things change, what is the reason for the change or how it's going to impact you, so.
I don't think operationally it's going to impact us, and it hasn't so far. The agreements, we get a chance as health directors to review them with DHHS before they go out annually, so that if there's changes, if there's questions, and it didn't look like we really have any changes in those agreements.
Okay, good. Any further questions?
This is Raleigh at work. The bureaucracy, the red tape. Yep.
And a lot of these, I will tell you, a lot of these are federal funds that are drawn down federally. So these are requirements that are coming from whether the federal government, the CDC, and, you know, when we look at these and we question things, we learn that they're held accountable to that. The funding that comes down, there's certain things that the state has agreed to do, and we're the subcontractor of those funds. So we know what we need to do. Our audits are always very, very good. Our programmatic audits and our fiscal audits never have any deficiencies.
Interesting.
thank you for what you do. We appreciate you a lot.
My pleasure.
All right, do we have consent to approve? Consent. Unanimous on that one. Jane, thank you so much.
Thank you, thank you.
Thank you. The final item is a request from the Finance Department for approval to amend the opioid settlement fund for supply and computer purchases. And Ms. Deb Cheek is here to make this presentation to the board.
Hi, this is really an administrative matter. We want to make some purchases of some computer supplies and promotional supplies, and they just happen to be in the wrong accounting line. So we're asking for you to allow me to transfer those into the correct accounting lines for purchase.
Consent. Consent. Thank you, Deb.
That was easy.
Thank you.
Just going down the agenda, we have any announcements of vacancies? None? Okay. No appointments before the board? Any unfinished business? Anybody? No? Okay. It's the first meeting of the month. Do we have any comments or updates from anyone? I went to the rescue squad banquet So they had that previous Saturday, and it gave an opportunity to recognize. But it was interesting when I was at the Rescue Squad banquet, the ones who received the awards actually had to leave on calls
Yeah.
to see that. But it's a lot of our EMS actually work for the squad as well, at different times, of course, not the same, but had an opportunity to visit with them and hear some of their challenges. Any further comments or updates? Any new business? County Manager's report?
Just a quick update, one, to let everyone know and to remind everyone that county offices will be closed on Friday, April the 7th for Good Friday. And I have some information to pass out to the board, just some update information on the reappraisal and to let you know kind of where the appeal process is going. So far, we've had 973 pieces or parcels that have been reviewed and worked on through our tax office, so the process is going well. We do have some that will go to the Board of Equalization and Review. I think that starts in June, if I remember correctly. So we're continuing to work through that process, and like I said, I've got some updated information that I'll pass out to the board.
Anything further?
No, ma'am.
Okay. All right, I need a motion to go into closed session for attorney-client, economic development, and property acquisition.
Make a motion, we go into closed session?
All right, all in favor? All right, let's go into closed session.